keen beans, hope you have all had a lovely Easter and managed to enjoy some of the sunshine. My name is Lizzie and today we're going to be doing some yoga. In this video we're going to be doing seated yoga, so we're going to be doing it on a chair. There will be another video going up which is more where we're sitting on the floor and standing up, but do this video, do them both, do whatever you want to. You can do this one standing up if you feel like it. So let's begin by just doing some warm-up moves. So let's stretch those hands up into the air, up, 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 seeing if we can try and touch the ceiling high as we can. And then let's bring them down and release. And let's bring those hands together in front of us. And we're going to stretch those arms up in the air, up high as we can go, and then release. So it's like we're drawing a big rainbow in the sky. So it's like a rainbow stretch. Bring those hands together in front of us. Big breath in, and then stretch up the same. Look, follow your hands with your eyes, look up at that ceiling, and we're going to draw another rainbow. And then one more. So bring those hands together in front of us, raise them up to the ceiling, look up at them as we raise them up, and then drop those hands, drawing that big rainbow shape. And then bring those hands back together in front of us. This time we're going to do a reverse rainbow. So drop those hands into our laps, stretch those arms up wide, and then bring those hands together above us. And again, we can look up and then watch our hands as we bring them back down. Let's do that again. Drop them into our lap, big rainbow shape, looking up as our hands come together in front of us and bringing them back down in front of us. One more, drop those hands, arms out wide, drawing that reverse rainbow, looking up as our hands come together, and then bring your hands back down in front of us. Now we're going to stretch one arm up in the air, so up, 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 high as we can get it, and then we're going to bring our hands down and we're going to give ourselves a pat on the back. We're going to bring the opposite hand round, pop it on our elbow, and just really gently, not pushing, just using that to get a bit of a deeper stretch into the back of our arms. And release. And then let's do that to the other side. So stretch the arm up high as we can, up, 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 and then give ourselves a pat on the back. Opposite hand comes round, really gently, gentle push. Tiny bit of pressure just to help us get slightly deeper stretch. Nice. And release. Let's take those arms across the body. So bring that arm across, pointing to the wall beside us. Same trick, opposite hand just above the elbow. Really gentle bit of pressure just to help us get a nice deep stretch into this part of the top part of our arm. And release. And then we're going to go the other direction. So bring that hand across the body. Opposite hand just above the elbow. Little bit of pressure. Just get a slightly deeper stretch. Nice, brilliant. Let's stretch those arms up beside us and we're just going to do some shoulder circles. So whatever feels good to you today, you can do really big, wide, slow circles if you want. You can do really little fast ones, you can do little slow ones, big fast ones, just whatever feels good for your arms today. And change direction. So if you're going forwards, go backwards. If you're going backwards, go forwards. It's a nice movement into those shoulders. Awesome. And drop those arms. Let's pop those fingertips onto our shoulders, and we're just going to do some shoulder rotations now. So we're going to try and see if we can bring those elbows together in front of us. We're going to drop those elbows down, bring them back, and really we're thinking about trying to squeeze our shoulder blades together behind us, push that chest forward and bring those elbows back up. Elbows together in front of us, drop them down, squeeze those shoulder blades together, back up. See if we can get them to meet in the front. Doesn't matter if they don't though. Drop those elbows, squeeze those shoulder blades behind us. And next time your elbows come together, we're going to change direction. So now I'm going to lift my elbows up, squeezing shoulder blades together, chest out, drop those elbows down, let them come together in front, lift them up, open them out, squeezing shoulder blades together, chest forward, elbows back down, lift those elbows up. Last one, shoulder blades together, really push that chest out, drop those elbows and release. Let's give those arms a little shake off. Now we're going to make some X-Men moves with the arms. So let's make an X. So bring both your elbows together, put one on the inside of the other, and we're going to make an X shape. So have your palms of your hands, have them facing out to the wall on either side. And while we're here, what we're going to do is keep those elbows together. So imagine there's glue on those elbows. But what we're going to do is we're going to try and bring the backs of our hands together. See if we can get the backs of our hands to meet. Well, I'm not sure if mine can quite meet, but just as far as you can get. And release. Let's do that to the other side. So other elbow on top this time. Imagine you're gluing it into the inside of that elbow. Bring our hands up so we make an X-Men shape. Palms towards the wall, so palms facing the wall on either side. And let's see if we can bring the backs of those hands together without letting our elbows drift apart. So imagine those elbows are glued together, bringing the backs of those hands together. Nice, and release. Now, just to get out any last tension in our shoulders, let's squeeze those shoulder blades up to the ears. Up, 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 squeeze as hard as you can. Take a big breath in. And big breath out. Really sigh it out when you release it. Let's do that again. Big breath in. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Big breath out. Really big sigh out. Nice. Let's warm the neck up now. So we're going to drop our chins down to our chest. We're going to look at the floor, look at our laps. Then nose to ceiling, we're going to look up at that ceiling, back to center. We're going to look over our right shoulder at the wall beside us, back to center. Then we're going to look over our left shoulder at the wall beside us, back to center. Chin to chest, looking down, looking at the floor, back to center. Then looking up at the ceiling, back to center, looking at the camera again, looking over our right shoulder to the wall beside us, back to center. Then we're going to look over our left shoulder at the wall beside us, back to center. This time we're going to drop our right ear to our right shoulder. So right ear to right shoulder, and try and keep the left shoulder down. Don't let that rise up because we're trying to get a stretch into the left side of the neck here. So try and keep that left shoulder nice and low. Back to center, left ear, left shoulder. Same trick, try and keep that right shoulder nice and low, because what we want is we want a really nice stretch in the side of our neck here. And back to center. Let's do that once more. So right ear to right shoulder. And this time, if you want to, you can take your right hand, pop it on your left ear, and just use that. See if you can just get a bit of a deep stretch. Don't pull, don't do anything that might hurt. But just if you want to, you can use that hand really gently, just get a bit of a deeper stretch into this left side of the neck. Nice. And release that hand. And then we're going to go the other way. So left ear to left shoulder. And we're going to do the same thing if you want to on the side. So lift that left hand up, pop it on that right ear. And again, no pushing, no forcing, just a little bit of extra pressure. Very, very gentle pull, just to see if we can get a slightly deeper stretch into the side of the neck. Awesome. And back up to center. Let's warm those hands and wrists up now. So hand towards the camera. We're going to grab that wrist with our opposite hand, and we're going to do some wrist rotations. So nice and slowly, so we're still warming those wrists up. Change direction. Palm of the hand towards the camera, like you're giving me a high five, and then pop the opposite hand, pop fingertips to fingertips, and again, really gently, just a little bit of extra pressure. Pull those fingers back very, very gently though, just to get a stretch into that hand. Back of the hand towards the camera, same trick, really gently, just very, very slight pull on those fingers to stretch out that wrist. Nice. Grab that wrist again, give that hand a wee shake. Great, let's do that to the opposite side. So other hand towards the camera, grabbing that wrist with the opposite hand. Let's do some wrist rotations. Oh, I hear my wrist clicking like mad there. And then change direction. So nice, big, slow circles. So still warming those wrists up. Nice, palm towards the camera. Opposite hand, really gently, just a little pull on those fingers, just to get a bit of a deeper stretch. Back of the hand towards the camera, same trick, very gentle on those fingers to get a slightly deeper stretch. Give that hand a good shake out. Let's clasp those hands together, and this time we're going to do wrist rotations, but with both our wrists. So again, nice big slow wrist rotations here. Change direction. And then everybody's favorite, it's the keen wave. So let's see how much movement we can get into our keen wave today. And then if you can work out which way you're going, not sure if I can, change direction and keen wave in the opposite direction. Nice, and then give everything a shake off. So now we are going to do a side bend. So what we're going to do is we're going to stretch one hand up into the air. So again, stretching that arm up into the air, pointing towards that ceiling. And when we stretched it, keep stretching as high as we can. We can either keep our hands in a lap or we can pop them on the chair beside us. We can let it drift towards the floor. Big breath in as we breathe out. We're just going to bend to the side. So I'm letting my hand just sort of travel down towards the floor. If you're feeling super flexible, it might get to the floor, but it doesn't matter where it gets to. I'm pointing my hand to the wall beside me. I'm just getting a nice stretch. I'm imagining I'm like a banana. I'm trying to get a banana shape into my body. And come back up. And we'll go straight over the other way. So again, I'm just going to let my hand drift down the chair beside me. I'm going to stretch my arm up into the air as high as I can. Once I've got as high as I can, big breath in. And big breath, I'm going to go over, I'm going to do my banana stretch to this side. So trying to get that nice curved shape in my body, hand pointing to the wall beside me. Back up, and I'm going to go straight over. So I'm going to drop that hand, let it drift down, stretch the other one up, and then over I go. Banana stretch, pointing to that wall beside me. And back up, straight over, windmill straight over, hand drifting towards the floor, pointing that hand at the wall beside me. And then we're going to come back up to sitting. Now we are going to do a forward bend. So to prepare for that, what we're going to do, make sure you're sitting nice and comfortably. We're going to grab our hands together. So we're imagining now we're holding a big stick, or maybe a big paintbrush in our hands. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend forward and we're drawing a big circle on the floor. So see if you can bend back as well if that's comfy. But we're going to bend forward. So we're imagining the paintbrush sticking out of our hands. And what we're doing is we're bending forward. We're drawing a circle on the floor with that paintbrush. So bending forward as far as we can go. Big stretch around in there if we can. If it's comfy, stretch back to the side, forward, drawing that big circle. Next time you come back, we're going to change direction. So we're going to draw it in the other way. Or if you want to, you can imagine it's like a big pot of soup or pot of porridge. We're stirring it. Big wooden spoon in our hand. We're stirring that pot. Nice, just a couple more stirring it this way. And then come back to center. Nice. Now we're going to imagine this time that we're rowing a boat. So we're going to grab those oars in our hand. And same sort of motion, we're going to bend forward, so fists towards the camera. And then we're going to come back up. So imagine we're rowing a boat, and if you want to, if it's comfy, you can bend back. And then we're going to bend forwards, fists towards the camera, bend forward as far as you can go. Nice. And then bend back, bending those elbows, pushing that chest forward, bending back if it's comfy to do so. Let's just do a couple more rowing. So as we're getting into it, you can pick up the speed a little bit if you want to. It feels comfy, stretch forward, and then stretch all the way back. And then come back to sitting up nice and straight. Brilliant. So now we've done that, we're going to try and do our forward bend. So stretch those hands up into the air, stretch up, and what we're going to do is we're going to lean towards the camera. So point your hand palms towards the camera. Actually, while we're here, so imagine you're trying to give me a high five. So give me a high five with your right hand. Stretch that right hand. Nice. Stretch that left hand, high five. Awesome. Then both hands together, high 10. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Brilliant. So now we're stretching as far as we can forward with both hands. We're just going to bend forward and imagine we're trying to touch our toes. So you might be able to get to your toes. You might be able to get your hands on the floor. That's great. If you can't, just bend forward, put those hands on your knees and fold forward. But if you can get all the way down, you can pop those hands on your toes or onto the floor in front of you. My head's probably disappearing now. Just see how far you can get. And then really slowly come back up. Nice and slowly, just let those hands drift back up to sitting. Awesome, we're going to do that again. So stretch those hands up, bend forward, so palms towards the camera, and you're trying to give me a high 10. So when you're stretched far forward as you can do, can't get any further forward, we're going to go down. So again, you can just bring your hands onto your knees and bend down. But if you want to, you can pop your hands on your shins or on your feet or on the floor. And just see how far you can bend. So bending forwards. That's nice and comfy. Keep those knees nice and bent, hands on the floor, hands on your legs. If that's more comfy, looking down at that floor. Nice. And then come back up to sitting. Brilliant. Now we are going to do a twist. So what we're going to do is, so sit, make sure you're nice and comfy. I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to pop it onto the outside of my right knee, just to help me get a bit more leverage. So I'm going to stretch my right hand out towards the camera, and I'm going to take a big breath in. And as we breathe out, what we're going to do is we're going to twist around, and we're going to follow that hand round and see how far we can twist round. If it helps, you can put the back of your hand against your knee, just to help you get a bit more of a turn round. So you might be able to twist all the way around to look at the wall behind you. You might look at the wall beside you. However far you get is great. Just follow that hand with your eyes and see how far you can twist around. And then come back. Let that hand come back to center. Let's go the other way. So this time I'm going to pop my right hand, back of my right hand onto my left knee. I'm going to stretch that hand forward. I'm watching my hand. Big breath in, big breath out. I'm going to follow my hand around and see how far I can twist on this side. So you might be able to twist and look all the way behind you, which is great. You might be able to look beside you. You might still be looking forwards, but it's all brilliant. However far you can get, it's all good yoga. And then come back to look at the camera again. So let's do that once more to each side. So left hand onto right knee, back of the left hand, stretch that hand forward, big breath in, big breath out, twist round and see how far, watching that hand go with your eyes, how far you can twist round. You might be able to go a little bit further this time because we've already practiced one twist. And then come back to the center. Let's swap sides. So back of the right hand onto the left knee, stretch that hand forward, pointing it towards the camera, big breath in, big breath out. I'm going to twist around, see how far we can twist on this side. Might be able to twist a little bit further again because we've already practiced this once, but wherever you get to, wherever's comfy for you is great. And then come back to center and sit up nice and tall and get into a really comfy position. Brilliant. So now we're just going to do a few more moves. This time we're going to move our legs very slightly. So I'm just going to spread my legs a little bit further apart because we're going to do some bending towards the left. I'm going to pop my left knee along the side of my chair. If you don't do this with your legs, that's absolutely fine. You can stay sitting and just follow the arm movements I'm going to do. But if you want to move your legs, you're going to twist around a little bit, so my left knee is pointing to the wall beside me, my right knee is still sort of pointing towards the camera. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my body, so my hips, it won't be all the way, but as far as I can, they're sort of twisting to point the same direction as this knee. And then when I'm here and when I'm comfy, I'm going to stretch up, stretching those arms up into the air, and I'm going to look at that wall beside me. So I'm looking the same direction my knee is going. Big breath in. And as I breathe out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten my arms. So there's one pointing to the wall beside me, and then there's one pointing to the wall behind me, the other way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look over that backhand, look into that wall. And then I'm going to turn around, I'm going to look over that front hand. So I'm looking forwards. And then we're going to drop that backhand. So just let it come loose. You can pop it back in your lap. You can let it just drift down the side of the chair again. We're going to turn that palm so it's facing up to the ceiling. Big breath in, then big breath out. It's a really gentle back bend. So we're stretching that hand up to the ceiling. And we want to look up at that hand, looking up towards the ceiling, and just let the back hand go wherever is comfy for you. If you want to pop it up onto you for a bit of stability, that's great. Otherwise, just let it drift towards the floor. And then bring that hand back down. And we're going to straighten up. And then we're going to do that to the other side. So this time, my right leg, I'm just going to move it out to the side, sort of side of my chair. Again, if you don't introduce your legs, that's not a problem at all. Just follow the arm movements. My other leg is sort of pointing towards the camera. My right leg is out, bent towards the wall beside me. I'm going to twist around to look over my knee. So I'm looking at that wall beside me, same direction as my knee, and then I'm going to lift my hands up, point them towards the ceiling. I'm going to look at that wall beside me, so looking forwards. Big breath in, big breath out. I'm going to straighten those arms out, so one is pointing to one wall, one is pointing to the other wall, so wall behind me, wall in front. And I'm going to turn, I'm going to look at that hand behind me. So I'm watching, looking behind me, and I'm going to turn around and look over that front arm. So I'm going to look down that hand towards the wall in front of me. And then I'm going to drop my back hand and again, let it go wherever feels comfy for you. I'm just going to let it drift down the chair, but you can pop it in your lap. Turn that palm up towards the ceiling. Big breath in. As we breathe out, we're doing a little back bend, nice gentle back bend. So we're bringing that hand up to point towards the ceiling, letting that left hand just drift towards the floor or stay in our lap, looking at that hand that's pointing to the ceiling. Nice. And then we're going to come back down. We're going to bring that leg back around, if we've got it turned out, and we're going to point back towards the camera. Brilliant. Now I'm going to do a side bend-ish sequence. So stretch those arms up into the air. So we're going to do our banana stretch again, or you can imagine you're a tree this time swaying in the breeze. So we're going to bend to the right, keep those hands together so they're making a nice sort of V pointy shape. Come up and we're going to bend to the left. Let's do that again. So straight over to the right. So we're swaying in the breeze here. Straight over to the left. Swaying in the breeze. Nice. Now this time, keep those hands together. We're going to twist to the right. So we're going to twist around and look at that wall beside us. Back to center. Then we're going to twist to the left and look at that wall beside us. Let's release those arms. We're going to point them to the walls beside us, palms facing upwards. So palms facing towards the ceiling. And then we're going to twist again with our arms out this time. So twist to look at the wall beside us. Look one way. And then we're going to twist to look the other way. And then back to the center. Turn it in our palms so they're facing down. We're going to do a forward bend, but a smaller one. Not quite as far this time. So we're going to breathe in, and as we breathe out, we're going to bend forwards, and we're just going to let our tummies sort of go against the tops of our legs. So the top of our head is sort of pointing towards our computer screens. And then we're going to drop those arms, swing them back up, so they're pointing up again, clasp them in that pointy shape, that triangle shape, and then point them towards the ceiling. And we'll do that again. So sway to the right, back up, sway to the left, back up. Then it's twist to the right, so twist to look at that wall beside you, back to the center, twist to the left, twist back to the center. Stretch those arms out, pointing to the walls either side of you. Turn those palms up so they're facing the ceiling. Twist to the right, back to center, twist to the left, back to center. Awesome. Turn those palms down, and we're going to do our forward bend. So big breath in, big breath out, bend forward. Let's see if we can get those tummies onto those thighs, chest onto the knees, sort of top of the head, crown of the head pointing towards our computers, towards our screens. Nice. And then drop those arms and swing them back up. And we'll do that once more. So hands in our pointy shape, swing to the right, swaying, sway to the left. Nice. Back up to center, twist to the right, look at that wall beside us. Back to center, twist to the left, looking at that wall beside us. Back to the center. We're going to stretch those hands out, one pointing to either wall. Turn those palms up to face the ceiling, twist to the right again. Look at that wall beside us. Back to center, twist to the left again. Back to center. Let's point those hands down now. We're going to fold forward, so get those tummies onto those thighs if they'll go. Get chest onto knees, looking at that floor. Drop those arms and then swing them up. And then bring those hands back down to our laps. Nice, guys. That's some really, lots of moving, lots of stretching. So hopefully everyone is feeling nice and flexible now. So we're just going to finish off with a little bit of breathing. So we're doing lots of moving. I'm a bit out of breath, so let's just catch our breaths. So sitting however's comfy for you, and take a big breath in. And like we did at the start, really sigh that breath out, big breath out. Let's do that again. Big breath in. Sigh that breath out, big breath out. Nice, once more. And sigh that breath out, any last tension. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing everyone in sessions next term. So bye everyone, bye.